Hello there, the story ninjas in the house. Well, listening ninjas, have I discovered a little treasure hiding in my mobile library? None other than Thoko's stories by Niki Daly. So I found two books, and each book has four stories. So guess what you're going to be hearing? Plenty of Thoko stories. Little bit about Thoko. Let's see here. Here comes Thoko. Thoko's resourceful. Thoko's full of fun. Thoko's kind-hearted. Sounds like many of the little listening ninjas that I know. And Thoko is Niki Daly's delightful new heroine. So I have heard a few stories about Thoko, and I do know that many of you have enjoyed it too. Well, let's get down to reading stories. Our very first one today comes from the booklet called Hooray Thoko. And we'll have another look, because that's Thoko. She may look a lot like many of our little ones out there, young and full of energy. Well, our first story is A Gold Star and a Kiss for Thoko. Now, Friday was always the big day of the Star Awards. So many of you at school would know that teacher often has special incentives for those of us who work a little bit harder at certain things. Well, Thoko had earned a yellow star for her maths sums. Wow! And a red star for her neat handwriting. And a blue star for clean hands. And we all know we are cleaning those hands and sanitizing very often. While green stars were for helping Mrs. Mackenzie. And for helping carry a big bag from the car to the classroom. And gold stars were for reading. Well, gold stars rocked. Many of you love books. I'm sure you're working hard for gold stars. Well, stars were always awarded just before the school bell rang at the end of the day. And everyone rushed out to meet whoever was collecting them. You know, moms, dads, grannies, our drivers, aunts were all waiting outside in the playground on the pavement. Everyone except Thoko. Well, she lived close by, enough to just walk home. Now, I do know some of my little friends live just across the road from school, or just down the road too. Well, Thoko lived with her mama at the back of her gogo's dressmaking shop. And Fridays were always great because Thoko got money to buy a treat on the way home. Now, that's awesome. And this Friday was an extra lucky day because Thoko reached the car park just in time to help Mrs. Mackenzie carry her bags to the car. Well, maybe she'd win a green star, although a gold star for reading would be better, of course. Well, lately, Thoko had made a special effort with her reading, to read with expression. I know many of us have heard that we needed to read with expression and to practice reading with expression. I always say, let's read as though we are telling our friends something really interesting. Well, and that is to include pauses after a comma and to stop and to catch a full breath when we see a full stop at the end of a sentence. Well, Brendan, who the children called Greedy Eyes, because he devoured so many books, was the best reader, of course. Oh well, Thoko helped Mrs. Mackenzie hand out worksheets. Friday's worksheet was all about time, which was going far too slowly for Thoko. If only she could make all the hands on the clock spin and stop at Star Awards time. I'm sure you can catch a glimpse of those clocks. I know many of us would like our days to just pass by so much quicker. Well, anyway, during music, she couldn't wait for the last line of the new song to end. Because she was, yes, waiting for the Star Awards. Goodness gracious, it was the longest few minutes. Let's see, how did you spend the time? Well, finally, the final period of the school day was a free one. So Thoko decided to read. And while she read, first one book, and then another, and another. She forgot all about time. So I know many of you who get stuck into your books sometimes lose track of time completely. I do. Well, by the time she had added the titles to her reading list, Mrs. Mackenzie was ready to announce the star winners. Whoa! Let's see. Is Thoko amongst them? All the little eager faces waiting for the Star Awards. Shane, Rapaleng, and Cornet got yellow stars. Gift, Aiden, Cleo, and Kaylee got red stars. Boosie got a green star, and Dana Rose, who had managed to wash green glitter off her fingers during break, got a blue star. Then Thoko heard her name being called. Ears pricked up sharply, I'm sure. Mrs. Mackenzie announced, Thoko and Brendan. Looking through the reading lists. Brendan had read 5 books, and Thoko had read, any guesses? Yes, more than Brendan, definitely. 6 books. Wow! She felt like melting with happiness. I sometimes get that feeling when I do something so very right. Oh, well, Mrs. Mackenzie placed a gold star in the middle of Thoko's forehead. I know many of you are very proud to wear that gold star. Where? In the middle of your foreheads. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling went the school bell, and Thoko raced through the school gates. She couldn't wait to show Mama and Gogo her gold star. Oh my gosh, I know! I've seen many children just showing everybody their stars. Well, when she reached Mrs. Ishmael's spicy donut stand, her face was hot from running. Mrs. Ishmael's little daughter, Sharifa, was pretending to be the shopkeeper. Now, I like pretend play too. Being a shopkeeper was definitely one of it. She handed Thoko a spicy donut in a paper bag, and she smiled sweetly. Thank you. And Thoko sped off. Well, you can quite imagine gold star on her forehead, a sweet, sticky donut in her hands. That's absolutely the best. Mama, Gogo, Thoko called, bursting through her front door. Look what I've got. Look what I've got. Look what I've got. And Gogo looked up from her sewing, and Mama peeped around the corner. Molo, Thoko, they said. How was school? Look, said Thoko. Look. And Thoko continued to point to her forehead. Look at what? Thoko asked Gogo. My gold star, said Thoko impatiently. What gold star? Asked Mama. This one, said Thoko. She kept pointing and running a finger across her forehead. She felt that the star was gone. Oh no! Thoko burst into tears as she explained how she received a gold star for reading. Where did you last have it? Asked Mama. At school, replied Thoko. And what did you do after school, my darling? Mama asked. And in tears, Thoko went over her route home from school. Oh, well, Mama said it was only a paper star. But it wasn't, eh? We all know it was a very special gold star. Now dry your tears, my darling, says Gogo, and we will go back and look for that gold star. While Gogo helped Thoko retrace his steps. So I'm going to ask all of you, think back. Do you remember Thoko's route home? Let's help her find that star. Well, Gogo helped Thoko retrace his steps around the corner along the road back to school. And there at Mrs. Ishmael's donut stand, they found Thoko's gold star stuck to the forehead of Mrs. Ishmael's little girl. Oh, man. Well, when Mrs. Ishmael heard Thoko's sad story, she said, Sharifa, darling, that gold star that you picked up actually belongs to Thoko. But little Sharifa had fallen in love with this gold star. Now, I do know that little ones just love the stars, and when they are gold, they are super, super special. And when Mrs. Ishmael tried to remove it, Sharifa screamed so loudly. Oh my gosh, people thought something terrible was happening. Goodness gracious me. Gogo turned to Thoko. Ah, she says, my darling, Sharifa's far too small to understand. But I think you are old enough, Thoko, to be thoughtful enough. Please let her keep the gold star. And Thoko thought for a while. This was a big decision to make. She had worked hard for that star. Well, the corners of the gold star had curled up and it looked as if it was about to fall off again. Anyway, Thoko had done her thinking and she says, okay, Sharifa, you can keep the gold star. Inside she felt rather sad because we know she worked rather hard to earn it. And gold stars weren't that easy to win. Well, then at bedtime, Gogo brought Thoko something really, really special. Do you want to see what? It's a tiny picture, but I'm sure your imagination can do all the rest. Gogo had made Thoko a gold star on a hair clip, so Thoko could wear that star whenever she wanted to. And that is for being a good reader, said Gogo. And then she kissed Thoko on the forehead and whispered, and that's for being such a very special and kind-hearted girl. Thoko touched her forehead and thought a little more as she drifted off to sleep. Gold stars get curly corners and fall off, but kisses on the forehead last forever. So I think our Thoko definitely teaches us some lessons, doesn't she? Practice reading a lot. Find books that you are interested in, and you will see time will absolutely fly. You probably would run out of books. And practice being kind and thoughtful to others, perhaps littler than you. Well, for now, goodbye until next time.